welcome to tonight's beer review. And I'm getting behind on the beer review downloads again, uploads again, so who knows when we might see this. Anyways, tonight we are reviewing Lagunitas, the Waldos Special Ale. This is an Imperial IPA. I would say double IPA, but it's almost triple at 11.5 ABV. And I had one before, and my God, it is intense. So let's 11.5 ABV. I haven't had one this strong in a long time. Let's read the label, shall we? In 1971, the Waldos met one afternoon at 4:19 as to not be late and set out in a '66 Impala armed with a treasure map on a journey to find a spot near Point Reyes. They never found the spot, but they kept looking. The dankest and hoppiest beer ever brewed at Lagunitas was made with the help of the Waldos for all treasure hunters. And my God, it is really dank. Very, very dank. How dank? Well, you are about to find out, my friends. Obviously, don't drink a lot of these. Oh, what I should note before I open, what is amazing is that in Hawaii, this was selling as a 6-pack for under $11. Well, maybe a little bit over $11. Maybe it was like $11.29 or so. That is incredibly, incredibly affordable for a beer, obviously, this heavy, imported from California. Usually, Imperial IPAs are sold in 4-packs and not 6-packs, and usually they're about the same price or a little bit more than what this 6-pack was selling for. So, by all means, go and get this special while it's on the shelf, because I don't think it's going to last that long. It's only been there a week, and they're already like halfway through the stock at the Tamuras I'm at, that I go to, which doesn't really turn over quite a lot of craft beer. So get it if you can find it, because it's really good. So just opening this up, you immediately smell hops. Very, very dank hops. Incredibly dank hops. Let's just say it's like somebody opened a 20-sack instead of a beer. Pours very thick. Kind of have to work to get a bit of a head, and it doesn't last very long. But I found that with these really high ABV beers, heads tend not to last long, period. So we're going to go to the head first. Again, big dankness there. A little bit of cattiness, that sort of unwashed cat flavor. Cat spray flavor. I mean that in a pleasant way. A lot of tropical juiciness, intense tropical juiciness, a lot of sweetness coming up from the malts. Also that sort of ozone flavor that I find in a lot of heavily hopped beers. Very much on the tropical side in the nose, very much on the dank side. You can see from the coloration, very thick, very viscous, very cloudy orange. Very thick on the mouth. What's amazing is almost no booziness in the taste. Even when this gets warm, it doesn't get boozy. You know it's kind of on the heavy side because it is really syrupy and thick on the mouth. Intense hoppy bitterness throughout that is well balanced by the very thick malting we have here. So you're getting a very intense version of an IPA. It's not just pure bitterness, you got balance. It's sweet up front. The heavy hopping, balances out that sweetness. In the same token, that sweetness balances out the bitterness. Taste-wise, in the front, a lot of tropical juiciness. Because of the thickness and bitterness of the beer, it really makes your mouth water until, that dryness kind of comes in the finish, and it just lingers on the tongue there. Like with a lot of Imperial IPAs, I find that that finish just sort of lingers, that bitterness is so strong in the finish. It tastes more bitter, after you're done drinking it than when you're sipping it. It just coats that tongue. Very resiny sort of taste to that bitterness, though. It's not just pure bitterness. Very resiny. Very much pine resin. And another kind of resin, too. Let's say the resin of something that's very dank, yes? Very drinkable. You could almost chug this. I wouldn't recommend it, but, it's very drinkable for this sort of thickness, for this sort of ABV. Sorry, I'm a little bit congested today. Not enough that I would not... If I'm really super congested, I skip on doing a review, but... something as big as this, no need to worry. Front is almost like sweet bread. It's so bready and sweet at the same time. Sweet bread with almost a passion fruit glaze on top of it, if you could put it that way. Then comes in that wave of, grapefruit rind and dankness in that middle, and it just turns into pure pine resin in the finish that goes on and on and on. It's a shame that it doesn't retain its head very well. It's still got a little bit of the bouquet just because of the thickness of it, but it just smells beautiful. I can tell you that it really, when you're pouring that out and the head's sort of fizzing there, you can smell it. You don't need to bring it all the way up here. You can smell it as you're pouring it. Now, I wouldn't recommend this to someone who is just starting out in IPAs. It is pretty much, the quintessence of what a good Imperial IPA should be, which is a lot more bitterness, a lot more malting to go and provide a balance to that bitterness. In other words, just it pummels your taste buds, it pummels your senses. And anyone who is not used to drinking a IPA would sip this and almost spit it out. It would be just so intensely bitter to them. But to the seasoned IPA drinker, you get a lot of those nice nuances. You get to see a very good example of how even something that's supposed to be ultimate hop bomb, basically, this intense hop flavor is well balanced, is not just pure bitter hops. If I remember correctly, this is also a sort of single hop type of beer in which they use only mosaic hops to create this sort of heavy tropical essence to it. Tropical and dank essence to it, sorry. And, you know, I highly recommend that you go and get this limited edition if you still can. From what I hear, it sells out pretty quickly when it does come out. And I can see why it sells out. This is a pretty damn good, not only is it pretty damn good Imperial IPA, I wouldn't say it's the best ever Imperial IPA I've ever had. And to be honest, Imperial IPA style is not in my top 10. As you know, I'm a bit more of a fan of sessionable beers. That said, I still like to drink them. I'm not very picky about beer types, except for light beers. I don't think I've ever met a light beer that I really enjoy truly drinking. I take that back. I've enjoyed some light beers after working in the yard. But what I can say about this, it's really good, and you are not going to be able to beat the price on this. I kid you not. This is probably the most affordable release I've ever seen here in Hawaii for an Imperial IPA. Can't beat $12 for like a 6-pack of this stuff. And because one beer is going to be good for most people. And I can say it's really good. So, you know, it's pushing on 12 minutes right now. Go out. I can't really sell this enough as, you know, something that's affordable and really high quality as well. Go out and get it. That's your beer review for tonight, folks. Cheers.